A humble grandmother stands next to her 8-year-old grandson, carefully counting coins to pay for her groceries. The impatient cashier begins to humiliate her in front of everyone, throwing cruel words that cut like blades. With each passing second, the weight of shame grows in her eyes as she struggles to maintain her dignity for the sake of her grandson. What no one notices is that just behind her in line, a discreet man wearing a black suit is watching everything with a serious gaze. What he does next is so unexpected, it will leave you in tears. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from. If you love stories that restore your faith in humanity, subscribe now, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. We have another heart-melting story waiting just for you. The sun dipped low over Manila, painting the sky in soft oranges and pinks. But a gentle breeze kept the air from feeling too heavy. Mary Santos, 70 years old, walked hand in hand with Liam, her 8-year-old grandson. Her clothes were modest: faded floral dress, hem-stitched a dozen times, sandals worn thin from years of use, but always immaculately clean. Liam's small, confident hand gripped hers tightly. His wide brown eyes sparkled with curiosity and innocence as he gazed around in awe at the towering shelves of the neighborhood grocery store. Shelves filled with goods he rarely had the chance to take home. Mary examined each price tag with the precision of a surgeon. In their cart, only the essentials: a bag of rice, a carton of milk, a loaf of pandesal. Simple necessities she knew she could afford. Meanwhile, Liam's attention was drawn to the vibrant packaging of sweets and cookies. His excitement bubbled as they passed the cookie aisle. Mary hesitated. Her eyes locked onto a familiar package, a box of chocolate cookies with a blue and white label. Her chest tightened at the sight. The memory of Emily, her daughter, flooded back like a wave. Emily always bought that exact box for Liam. Emily had passed away 2 years ago in a sudden jeepney accident that left the family shattered. Mary barely had time to grieve. She had to stay strong for Liam. The promise she made to Emily still echoed in her mind every single day. "Take care of my boy, Mama. Give him as much happiness as you can, even if it meant sacrificing her own well-being." "Grandma, these are the ones Mom used to get me," Liam said, his voice lighting up with joyful remembrance. "Can we get them?" Mary felt a lump rise in her throat. Something about the look on his face made all her struggles seem worth it. But she also knew her budget. It was already stretched thin after paying for Liam's school supplies and the electric bill. After a long moment of hesitation, she picked up the box and placed it gently in the cart. Emily's voice seemed to whisper in her ear, urging her to keep Liam's smile alive, even if it came at a personal cost. "Of course, sweetheart," she said with a warm smile, masking her internal worry. Mary was resilient. She had lost her husband young, buried her only daughter, faced financial hardships, and adjusted to a simpler life. Yet she never let Liam feel the weight of her burdens. Living on a modest pension and with limited resources, every trip to the grocery store was an exercise in balance. Necessity versus indulgence. Essentials versus a small spark of joy. But no matter what, saying no to Liam's hopeful smile felt impossible. She calculated the coins in her pocket as they approached the checkout, silently fearing they might not be enough. She would do anything to keep Liam's smile, but she wasn't prepared for what would happen next. Mary approached the checkout counter cautiously, trying to remain calm. She carefully placed her few items on the counter while Liam, excited, held the package of cookies with both hands. "These are the cookies Mom always used to buy for me," Liam said with a smile, looking up at Mary. Jake, the cashier, appeared tired and annoyed. He glanced at Mary and her cart, and his expression shifted when he noticed the small pouch of coins she pulled from her bag. He let out a loud, exaggerated sigh, ensuring everyone around noticed his impatience. "Coins? Seriously? This isn't a bank, lady," he said, crossing his arms. His voice carried an irritated tone that only made Mary's discomfort grow. Visibly uneasy, Mary began counting her coins with trembling hands. Liam looked back and forth between his grandmother and the cashier, sensing the tension but not fully understanding what was happening. Jake continued his remarks, completely indifferent to their impact. "You couldn't count these at home before coming here and holding everyone up?" he said, shaking his head as he glanced at the growing line of customers. "Folks, I hope you're comfortable. This is going to take forever." Murmurs began among the customers. Mary felt her face flush. She tried to quicken her pace, but her hands trembled even more under the pressure. "I'm sorry," she murmured, barely audible, as she continued counting. Jake let out a sarcastic laugh and threw out another jab. "Sorry doesn't cut it, lady. Maybe next time, bring a card like normal people." A man in the line tried to step in. "Hey, that's unnecessary. Let her pay at her own pace." Jake responded with a cynical smile. "You're welcome to come here and count these coins yourself, buddy. Meanwhile, I'll try to keep the line moving." Liam lightly tugged on Mary's sleeve, noticing her tension. "It's okay, Grandma." "Don't be sad," he whispered softly. Mary simply nodded, trying to maintain her composure as she counted the remaining coins. Mary realized she didn't have enough coins to pay for all the items. Taking a deep breath, she tried to hold back tears. She looked at Liam, who was still holding the package of cookies with both hands. With a shaky voice, she said, I think we'll leave the cookies." "Just the other items, please." Liam, understanding what was happening, forced a smile in an attempt to lighten the situation. "It's okay, Grandma. I wasn't really in the mood for cookies anyway," he said, his small voice filled with tenderness. Mary's heart broke. Liam's words were an effort to protect her, but she knew how much it cost him. Jake grabbed the cookies disdainfully and set them aside. "Finally," he said, rolling his eyes. "Maybe now we can finish this line." He looked at the customers behind Mary and added with a sarcastic smile, "Thanks for your patience, folks. Not everyone knows how to shop properly." A few muffled chuckles echoed. Others remained silent, visibly uncomfortable with the scene. Jake then added, as if addressing Mary, but clearly wanting everyone to hear, "It would be so much easier for everyone if people were a little more prepared when they come shopping." Mary tried to ignore the comment, continuing to count her coins, but her fingers shook more than ever. Liam held her hand tightly, trying to comfort her. Jake, noticing her reaction, couldn't resist one last jab. "This isn't charity, ma'am. If you can't pay, maybe you should think twice before grabbing things you can't afford." At that moment, a tall man in a black suit stepped forward from the line. He had been standing quietly, observing the entire scene. His presence was calm but commanding. His sharp eyes were fixed on Jake. When Jake made another sarcastic comment, "Maybe it would be easier if she came back another day when she has actual money," the man finally spoke up. His voice was deep, steady, and impossible to ignore. "That's enough." The entire line fell silent. Everyone turned to look at him, including Jake, who now seemed to realize his actions had been witnessed. Mary kept her head down, not daring to look up. Liam clutched the cookies tighter, his wide eyes darting between his grandmother and the stranger. The man in the black suit took one slow step forward. His gaze never left Jake. "Do you always treat your customers like this, or is today just a special occasion?" Jake opened his mouth to respond, but before he could, the man adjusted his tie and removed his dark sunglasses. Gasps rippled through the line. A woman whispered, "Wait, is that?" Jake's eyes widened in shock. His expression shifted from arrogance to disbelief. Standing before them was Zohran Mamdani, the young, fiery assemblyman known for fighting for the poor, the forgotten, the voiceless, the man who marched in protests, who spoke truth to power, who never backed down from injustice. And now, he was here, in this small grocery store, defending a grandmother and her grandson. "That's right," Zohran said calmly, his voice carrying the weight of conviction. "And now you know who's asking you to treat people with dignity." Mary finally looked up. Her tear-filled eyes met his. She couldn't speak. She could only stare in disbelief. Zohran turned to her and Liam, his expression softening. He glanced at the cookies in Liam's hands and smiled gently. "Those cookies look delicious. I think they should definitely go home with you today." Mary tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. She could only nod, her emotions overwhelming her. Zohran looked back at Jake and said, "Cancel this transaction for me." Jake, still flustered, stammered, "Well, yeah. I mean, it depends, but it can take some time." Zohran nodded calmly. "That's a shame. Because we're going to cancel this purchase now." Jake looked at him, confused. "Cancel? But you just—" Zohran shrugged. "I did. But I have a better idea. Let's make another purchase. A real one. Mary and Liam deserve much more than this. And you, Jake, can use the time to reflect on how you treat people." He turned back to Mary and Liam with a warm, reassuring smile. "Let's grab another cart. We're doing a proper shopping trip." "Liam, you can pick out some toys too." Mary shook her head, her voice trembling. I can't accept this." "It's too much." Zohran gently took her hand. "You've done so much for him. Now it's my turn to help. Sometimes, accepting help is the hardest and most courageous thing we can do." Liam looked up at Mary with an eager smile. "Can we, Grandma? Please?" She took a deep breath. Tears streamed down her cheeks, and she nodded. "Thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart." Zohran grabbed a new cart and began leading them down the aisles. Mary hesitated with each item, but Zohran encouraged her. "Take what you need. Don't worry about the price. Let's make sure you and Liam are set for a while." Liam, grinning wider than he had in months, pointed out toys and treats. Zohran laughed and said, "If your grandma says yes, it goes in the cart." As the cart filled up, Zohran turned to Jake one last time. "Remember, Jake, kindness is the one thing that truly changes the world. Think about that while you void that transaction." The customers watched the scene unfold, many visibly moved, inspired by Zohran's generosity. Mary held Zohran's hand tightly as Liam clutched the now full cart of groceries. This was only the beginning. What happened next would change everything, not just for Mary and Liam, but for the entire store and beyond. The cart wheels squeaked as Zohran Mamdani pushed it down the rice aisle. Mary Santos walked beside him, her hands still trembling, but now from hope, not shame. Liam skipped ahead, eyes wide as saucers, clutching the chocolate cookies like a treasure. The store had gone dead silent. Every shopper, every stock boy, every security guard, all eyes were on them. A teenage girl in the cereal aisle pulled out her phone. She started recording. Zohran didn't notice. Or maybe he did, and didn't care. He stopped at the canned goods section. "Mary, how many cans of sardines do you usually buy?" Mary blinked. 2, maybe 3 a month." Zohran grabbed 10, dropped them in the cart. Clang, clang, clang. Liam gasped. "Grandma, look! 10! Mary's voice cracked. "Sir, this is too much." Zohran smiled gently. "Call me Zohran. And no, it's not enough." He moved to the meat section, picked up chicken legs, pork chops, ground beef, one of each. Then 2, then 3. A woman in line whispered to her husband, "That's really him. Assemblyman Mamdani." Her husband nodded, mouth open. Jake, the cashier, stood frozen at his register. His manager had pulled him aside. "Stay here. Don't move." Zohran didn't look back. He was on a mission. Next, school supplies. Notebooks, pencils. A Spider-Man backpack Liam pointed at shyly. Zohran tossed it in, then a second one, just in case. Mary tried to protest again. "I can't. I don't know how to repay." Zohran knelt to her level. "You already have. Every day you wake up for him. That's payment enough." Liam tugged Zohran's sleeve. "Sir, can we get ice cream?" Zohran laughed, a deep, warm sound. "Kid, we're getting the whole freezer." He opened the ice cream door, grabbed chocolate, ube, mango. 1 tub, 2, 5. The teenage girl's live stream chat exploded. "OMG, Zohran is buying them everything. This is better than a movie." Zohran the hero, back at the checkout. The manager had replaced Jake. A new cashier, 8 Rosa, scanned items with shaking hands. Zohran loaded the belt. 50 kilos of rice, 20 cans of sardines, 15 packs of noodles, a full set of school uniforms, 3 toy trucks, a soccer ball, the Spider-Man backpack, and, yes, 5 tubs of ice cream. 8. Rosa's voice cracked. "Sir, that's 28,450 pesos. Mary's knees buckled. She gripped the cart. "We can't." Zohran pulled out a black card, swiped it, approved. The receipt printed, longer than Liam was tall. He handed it to Mary. "This is yours now." Liam jumped up and down. "Grandma, we have ice cream!" But Zohran wasn't done. He turned to 8 Rosa. "Call your manager." The manager, Mr. Cruz, rushed over, sweating. "Sir, yes, assemblyman." Zohran raised a hand. "Not for me. For her." He pointed at Mary. "From now on, anytime Mary Santos shops here, she gets a 50% discount. On everything, no questions." Mr. Cruz nodded furiously. "Yes, sir. Right away." Zohran knelt to Liam. "And you, young man, what's your dream?" Liam blinked. I want to be a doctor, like the one who tried to save Mom." Zohran's eyes softened. "Then you will be." He stood up. "Mr. Cruz, set up a scholarship fund. For Liam. Full ride, medical school, all the way." Mr. Cruz nearly fainted. "Yes, sir. We'll name it after him." Mary was sobbing now. Not from shame, from relief, from love. Zohran helped load the bags into a store van. "We're delivering this to your home, tonight." As they stepped outside, the teenage girl ran up. "Sir, the video, it's at 100,000 views already." Zohran smiled. "Good. Let the world see what kindness looks like." Jake watched from the doorway. His face was ashen. He took 1 step forward, then another. "Ma'am, Mary," his voice cracked. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I didn't know." Mary looked at him. Her eyes were red, but kind. "We all make mistakes, hijo. Just be better tomorrow." Jake nodded, tears in his eyes. "I will. I promise." Zohran placed a hand on Jake's shoulder. "Start with empathy. Every customer has a story. Listen." The store van pulled away. Mary, Liam, and Zohran in the back, surrounded by bags. Liam held the soccer ball. "Grandma, is this real?" Mary kissed his forehead. "Yes, Anak, it's real." Zohran looked out the window. "This is just the beginning." The teenage girl's video hit 1 million views in an hour. Hashtag Zohran the hero trended nationwide. But the real magic was just starting. What happened in the weeks that followed would change lives forever. Stay until the end. You won't believe the ripple effect. The store van rumbled down the narrow streets of Tondo, Manila. Mary Santos sat in the back, clutching a plastic bag of rice like it was a newborn. Liam bounced beside her, hugging the Spider-Man backpack to his chest. Zohran Mamdani sat across from them, hoodie still down, eyes soft. The driver, Kuya Ruel, the same security guard, kept glancing in the rearview mirror. He couldn't believe this was happening. They pulled up to Mary's tiny barangay home, a one-room concrete box with a corrugated roof. Neighbors peeked from windows. Children stopped playing. Zohran stepped out first. He opened the van doors. Bag after bag came out. Rice, chicken, ice cream, toys, uniforms. The rice cooker, Aling Nana, the elderly neighbor, gasped. "Mary!" "I know too." Mary's voice shook. "Blessing, Nana." Pure blessing. Liam ran inside. "Grandma, we have space for everything." Zohran carried the 50-kilo rice sack himself, set it in the corner, then the second sack, then the ice cream straight to the tiny freezer. Mary stood in the doorway, tears streaming. "I don't know how to thank you," Zohran smiled. "You already did. Every day you wake up for him." He knelt to Liam. "Study hard, future doctor. The world needs you." Liam saluted. "Yes, sir. I'll make you proud." Zohran stood, pulled out his phone. "One more thing," he dialed. "Yes, it's me." "Set it up. Full scholarship. Liam Santos." Ateneo Medical, starting now. Mary collapsed into a plastic chair, sobbing. Not from pain, from relief. Neighbors gathered, phones out, live streams. Zohran in Tondo, Liam, the future doctor. That night, Mary cooked chicken adobo for the first time in years. The smell filled the barangay. Kids came running. She fed everyone. Liam slept with the soccer ball under his arm, dreaming of white coats. 1 week later, the video, Jessa's live stream, hit 10 million views. Hashtag Zohran the Hero trended #1 worldwide. News channels replayed it. Assemblyman buys groceries for struggling Lola. From coins to hope, Zohran's viral act. The grocery store, Super Save Mart, changed overnight. Mr. Cruz hung a huge banner. "Welcome Mary Santos, 50% off forever." He started empathy training. Every cashier, every bagger. Jake volunteered to lead it. Jake stood in front of 20 employees, voice shaking. "I was wrong. I judged. I hurt. Never again." He showed the video. "This is what happens when we fail. This is what happens when we rise." He visited Mary's home, brought 12 boxes of chocolate cookies, one for every month. "For Liam. From me. Forever." Mary hugged him. "You're forgiven, hijo. Now teach others." 1 month later, Liam started school in a crisp new uniform. Ateneo scholarship, official, full ride, allowance, laptop, tutoring. Mary walked him to the gate. No more coins, no more shame. Zohran's team set up a community pantry in Tondo. Free rice, free milk, free school supplies named after Emily. Emily's Pantry, because every child deserves a smile. Hundreds lined up. Mothers cried. Fathers bowed. 3 months later, the Liam Santos Medical Scholarship launched nationwide. 100 students. Poor but brilliant. Full ride. Zohran's promise kept. Jake became a trainer. Traveled to Cebu, Davao, Bacolod, teaching empathy, kindness, respect. He started a YouTube channel. From cashier to kindness. 1 million subscribers. Every video ended. Kindness is a choice. Choose it. 6 months later, Mary's home got a makeover. Zohran's Foundation, Lola's and Lolo's Fund. New roof, new walls, new kitchen, solar panels. Liam's first report card, all A's. Future Doctor, written in red ink. 1 year later, the park in Tondo, Liam, now 9, kicked the soccer ball, scored, cheered. Mary sat on a new bench. Plaque. In honor of Mary Santos, the heart of Tondo. A black car pulled up. Zohran stepped out. Casual shirt, carrying a small package. "Hi, Mary." She stood, hugged him. "You came." He handed her the package. Inside, framed photo from the store. Mary smiling. Liam holding cookies. Zohran pushing the cart. On the back, to Mary and Liam, kindness always wins. Z. Liam ran over. "Sir, I got 95 in science." Zohran high-fived him. "Future doctor in the making." Mary's eyes glistened. "You didn't just change our lives, Zohran." "You gave us hope," Zohran smiled. "You inspired me just as much. Keep being incredible." 10,000 plus scholarships launched nationwide. 500 plus stores adopted Mary discount for seniors. Jake's channel, 5 million subscribers. Emily's Pantry, 50 locations. #Zohran, the hero, 1 billion impressions. Night, Mary's home. Liam asleep. Spider-Man backpack by his bed. Soccer ball under his arm. Mary sat at the table, counting not coins, but blessings. She opened a letter from Ateneo Medical. Liam Santos, accepted. Class of 2040. Tears fell. Happy ones. She whispered, "Emily, he's going to be a doctor." Outside, the barangay glowed. Emily's Pantry lights on. Children laughing. Mothers smiling. Kindness didn't just win. It multiplied. Zohran stood on a stage. TED Talk, 50,000 views live. He held the framed photo. "This is Mary. This is Liam. This is what happens when we choose kindness. Power isn't in office. It's in lifting others when no one's watching." The crowd stood, clapped, cried. He ended. "Real heroes don't wear capes. They count coins. They raise grandchildren. They say sorry. They choose kindness. Be the hero in someone's story." Mary and Liam at the park. Liam kicks the ball. Scores. Zohran cheers from the bench. Mary laughs. Full circle. Text on screen. Kindness is a choice. Make it today. If this touched your heart, share it. Subscribe. Tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., another story of hope. Click the screen for more stories of resilience, love, and humanity.